Alright, 15 sheets of 23 30 seconds loaded up and strapped down in the burrito. Now we get to go from Victoria back to Edna. Yeehaw. Alright, we're working on the house, and this is the last step of the repairs before the new roof can be put on, and that is replacing the rotted roof decking. And I'm just going to go ahead and rip off 24 inches from the edge up, and this is the first piece cut and pulled up. And this is what we're working with underneath. We've got some rot on some of the runners, so I'll probably need to cut that out and replace the bits that are rotted. I don't need to replace all the runners. I'll just replace the rotted spots and slap the new decking on and go from there. It looks like we'll be all right. But yeah, a whole bunch of fun. Now this section, that's about 7 or 8 feet, and then from the new plywood all the way to the end of that drop down over there, and then on the all the way the other side of the house. We'll just walk over there. How about that? We have this whole edge to do. And then underneath the overhang, that's going to be interesting to cut. But I've got a vibro doodad I think I can get in there with. And then I've got under here, which is the wood burning Franklin stove, I've got some decking to replace where the seal has failed and it's gotten under and just rotted it out. And then a little section right there. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to do most of this edge here, and then there's a sheet or two in about the middle of the roof over here that's going to need a couple of new sheets, and that's about it. The rest of the roof is okay, the decking anyway. Obviously you can see by the lack of gravel it definitely needs new shingles. Kind of concerned about what's underneath that, but we won't know until the roofers come and strip everything off. You kind of see it bubbling up right there. That's a piece of decking that's going to have to be replaced. I don't know, this edge might actually be okay over here. I won't know until I get some shingles stripped off of it. I'm going to focus on the front side of the house first. That's what we're doing today. Yeehaw! Tools set up. Chop saw for the runners, or the underlayment, whatever you want to call them. And I put together a little rip table to rip the plywood in half. I'm not going to use a table saw, I'm just going to use a circular saw. Once I get done cutting all of this stuff out, I'll swap blades and put a new blade on, or I'll just stick that on the other saw, one or the other, and use the new blade to rip the plywood, the new plywood. I'm trying to use my trash blade to cut through all this shit, shingles and whatnot. Yeah, a whole bunch of fun. Alright, second section is ripped and pulled off, and not as much rot on this one. The number 2 and 3 runners on coming up towards the ridge are okay. I do need to replace the whole bottom runner though, but that's going to be common across this whole job, it seems like. I don't know if I want to use these 1x6s that are left over from the fascia, or actually go get some 1x4s, which these aren't. These are 1x3. 3.5. You never get what you're paying for. or if I want to make it a little more cost effective and get 1x8s and then just rip them in half, which might work out. Yeah, it's moving right along. Actually, came right out. Kind of spooky that it came out so easy. Barely had to pry at all, just a little bit on that lip right over there, lift it up and then pulled up with my hand. Didn't even have to use a crowbar. And the whole piece there, about 11 or 12 feet, just popped right up. I'm putting the new decking down with screws, so that ain't gonna happen. If it wants to pull the roof off this next time, it's gonna have to take the whole structure with it. All right, section 1 finished. New decking is in all the way across the front lip, 24 inches up, with about a, I don't know, 5/8, 3/4 overhang. Boy, found him a new piece of trash to play with. And then we're over here working on section 2. I got my dado line popped, and I started making my cut. I've got, I don't know, about 9 feet in. This thing already freaking popped the breaker on me once. I had to go reset the breaker. I'm just slowly chewing through it. Got to cut all the way up to there, and then I'm gonna have to get another tool to get under that little eave overhang to get the rest of the decking out. Yeah, progress. Progress is progressing. All right, decking is cut up to where I just don't have any more room anymore. And split down there so I could pull up the sheathing. And as expected, the whole first run of the underlayment was missing up to about here, and then that was all just rotten, so I pulled it up. But second and third course are good. No wicking rot or anything going on with those, so that's good. Let's work. I just got to replace the lip edge run. So now I get to go rip some 1x8s down in half to make those, and then rip the plywood to put the decking back up. Oh, a whole bunch of fun. Probably just deal with as far as I can get in full sheets up this way until I get to a break in the full sheets, and stick it over here somewhere. So there was one piece that was like just about 4 foot long, and that's only about 2 foot there, so that'll put my seam about here for that last piece, which is fine. It gets it off of that overhang. Whole bunch of fun. All right, all the decking is now finished on the front side of the roof. That was that first side. This was the side I finished up yesterday afternoon. I was just too tired and hurting to think about pulling out the phone to record it. Yeehaw. That up under there was kind of a bitch. I couldn't fit my circular saw, so I had to use a little battery operated vibra tool to finish the cut up against the recess in there to get that old plywood out. And none of the second or third course of underlayment was rotten, so it was fine. I just had to replace the whole first run. And this side went a whole lot better, actually, straighter than the first side did. But whoever put the roof on last, you can see that they didn't run it very straight. Big old bow there like a snake. So that was fun. I thought my pop line was off, and it was just the line of the shingles. I can't see straight lines in my glasses, so that always makes it a challenge. Making progress. Hopefully next week the roofers will come and get all this stuff shucked off so I can finish the last couple little spots. There's a little spot right there, so I'll just replace that, you know, whole piece there on the edge. Yeah, that little edge piece. And then right here underneath the wood burning stove flue, there's some rotten plywood. Can't really see it. Here, let me zoom out there. I don't know if you can see it flexing or not, but yeah, that whole piece from there, from the edge where the mastic is broken loose, all down to about here, is just rotten. So, and again, I'm going to wait until they can get the shingles off. And then I've got a couple of spots over on this side and potentially this edge here up to where the flashing actually, or the drip edge actually starts. There used to be that awning were in that spot, and it just, you know, collected water and leaf debris and trash, and it rotted off that edge. So we'll have to see how far up that went once they get this side stripped off. And I talked to the contractor, and they've agreed to go ahead and take this side off first, so that once it's off, I can get up here and handle that stuff, and this piece back over here, and the piece over the stove while they're working on this side. And hopefully I'll be done by the time they get ready to start laying paper on the side that I'm working on. But that's what I've got accomplished yesterday, day before that. Getting there. Still got a shitload of plywood left. Probably end up going to take some of that back and swap it out for a little bit thinner stuff. We'll see.